right, ladies and gents, this is just a video to show how I begin my rough drafts. I know some of you were having a hard time getting started, so here we go. First of all, we are going to go to either corner, left or right. Doesn't really make a difference to me for your heading, right? The heading that we use, never itch crazy dogs, name, instructor, class, date. Okay, so I would replace those with my name. All right. Oops, that's not how you spell my name. Nope, that's not it either. There we go. All right. Instructor. Paparonis, if Bruner is in our class too, you got to put her name down. Class. Writing. P whatever. P1, P6, P9, whatever period you're in. Today's date or the due date. We don't really have a due date yet, so I'm just going to put today's date. It doesn't really matter. It's just good habit to put the date on here. So we're going to go 3/19/21. Okay? We'll get rid of that. Okay? All right, great. Title. I'm writing the word title here because I have no idea what I'm going to do for a title. I like to write my essay first, and then I'll decide on a title. Here's what you don't need to do. You don't need to put this in any larger font than anything else. Just leave it whatever Google Docs default is. Same font, same size, everything. We don't need word art. As much as I appreciate your creativity, we're not going to do that. Okay. Here's the other thing. I have been struggling with my hook. So I don't actually know what that's going to be yet. So I'm just going to write hook goes here in bold so I can remember that. Okay? Hook goes here. Then I'm just going to start in with my claim because I know that that's what, I mean, after I figure out my hook or whatever, that's the important part. So my claim, I've been doing research about sausage and how basically every culture has a food that is somewhat or is sausage. So my claim is sausage is an important part of the culinary landscape of many different cultures because let's see, I have to see what my two main things that I'm going to talk about are why sausage is important. So I'm going to say my first reason from my claim statement is because nearly every culture has a version of sausage, and historically, actually, I'm going to switch these around. This every culture has a version of it is going to be my second point. My first point is going to be because historically it has fed people for millennia, and nearly every culture has their own version of sausage. There's my claim right there. Sausage is an important part. I think element is a better word than part, so I'm going to do that. Element of the culinary landscape for many different cultures, because historically it has fed people for millennia. All right. And nearly every culture has its own version of sausage. Okay, there's my claim. I'm going to dress this up into a longer intro paragraph with a hook later, but I don't need to do that right now. Okay. This is paragraph one, like my main point number one. Okay, so like a baby claim. So if this is my big claim, you have to look at your individual reasons. Historically, it fed people for millennia. That's one. And nearly every culture has its own version of sausage. Those are like little baby claims that you're going to use to start your paragraphs. So my first reason that sausage is important is because historically it has fed people for millennia. So that's going to be the topic sentence of my first body paragraph. To begin, sausage is an important part of sausage has been an important part of daily life for thousands of years, feeding people all around the world. Okay, I am not an expert, but I've done research. So now I need to back this up with some evidence. Okay? There is evidence that sausage has been a staple of many different cultures going as far back as the ancient Greeks. I'm not making this up, all right? I have to back this up now with a quote. Here we go. Quotation marks. All right, I'm going over to my note cards and Noodle Tools. Now, if you're using something else besides Noodle Tools, that's fine. But this is where you put in a piece of evidence, aka a quote. Let's see. Here's my note card about sausage. I'm going to hit show. The quotation. Sausage is one of the oldest forms of processed food, having been mentioned in Homer's Odyssey as far back as the 9th century BC. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Quote, sausage is one of the processed food, having been mentioned in Homer's Odyssey as far back as the 9th century BC. Okay, now, here's the thing. I put a quotation mark at the end, but then this period only happens to be, you don't ever put a period here. The only reason this one's here is because it happens to be part of BC. I'm actually going to do that, BC, to not confuse anyone, okay? And actually today we use BCE for before Common Era, okay? I don't put any punctuation there. What I do is I close the quote, and then in parentheses, I go over here and I find who wrote this. Well, if I look in my citation, I don't have an actual author. Okay. I paraphrase it. Sausage has been around for millennia. My idea is that I want to use this in my intro. I'm actually going to end up using it in my first paragraph, and that's okay. You got to be flexible with where you put your evidence. It's important because it shows the far-reaching influence of sausage through the years leading up to modern-day hot dogs. Okay. This is going to be part of my analysis here in a moment, but I have to say where I got this from. Okay. This is from an article called Hot Dog History, or from a webpage called Hot Dog History. This is the shortened, I don't have an author, so this is the next best thing, right? This title of the article is too long. I'm going to use this instead. Hot Dog History. Okay? Hot Dog History. Let's see. Okay. This is now in parentheses. Now I put the period. Okay, the period always goes after the citation is part of the quote. You don't want people thinking your quote is done before you tell them where you got it from. Now, if I want to see what is hot dog history, all I do later is go to your works cited page and see exactly what it is, and I will see this full citation. Don't worry about works cited pages right now. We're going to show you how to do that later. Okay, sausage is one of the oldest forms of processed food, having been mentioned in Homer's Odyssey as far back as the 9th century BCE. Hot dog history. Okay, now I want to do some analysis. I've made my claim. I've provided evidence. Now I want to do some analysis. My analysis will say, this shows the far-reaching influence of sausage throughout the years. Okay. This shows that sausage has had a I think to steal some of my language from my note card, a far-reaching impact on human culture, stretching back in history at least as far as the ancient Greeks. The reason I'm saying ancient Greeks here is because I know that in Homer's Odyssey that was an ancient Greek piece of writing, so the 9th century BCE. Okay. Okay, that is, I've made a claim, I've backed it up with evidence, and I have analyzed, okay? Now, if you're like, oh, is that it for my first paragraph? No, because you need to go on and provide some more evidence, right? That's what you need to do. You might say something like, All right. Ancient Greeks. In addition, other ancient cultures included sausage as part of their daily fare. Fare, F-A-R-E. And then I might have another quote. In pre-Columbian Guatemala, comma, there was excuse me, there was, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't know, I'm making this quote up, but this could be on a note card, right? And you could talk more about sausage, and then you can analyze. Okay? And that's what you can do that 2 or 3 times. Use a couple of pieces of evidence to support your one main topic sentence of this particular body paragraph. Where does that topic sentence come from? Well, it's the first part of your claim up here. Think of it as a baby claim. Now, for my next paragraph, okay, I might say something like, I'd keep writing that first paragraph, and I might say something like, aside from the history of sausage, or in addition to, because they go together, in addition to the history of sausage, comma, it is also interesting to note that nearly, look where I'm getting this from now, this is my second body paragraph, nearly every culture has its own version of sausage. Nearly every culture has its own version of sausage. Okay, this is my second baby claim, right? It's built in as one of my supporting reasons to my main claim. It's going to be the topic of my second major body paragraph area. When I say paragraph, you could make, like, here's your first body paragraph. You could make this into 2 paragraphs. If you want to keep going and give us more evidence, that's totally fine. That'd be my first body section. This will be your second body section. And then you can follow along with the graphic organizer to wrap things up with your counterclaim, if there is one, if that's appropriate for your type of essay, etc. And then wrap it up with a conclusion. Once all of that's done, then you can start thinking, like, I still don't know how I'm going to do my hook, but I am confident that I'll get some ideas by the time I'm done writing this. Same goes with the title. Okay, so this is how you incorporate your note cards into getting your essay started as a draft. Okay, this right here with parenthetical citations is non-negotiable. You have to do this. If you don't do this, I'm not taking your paper. So you have to be able to do that. Okay, hope this was helpful. Email with questions. Ask questions if we're on Zoom together. And I will see you when I see you.